Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega here with my lovely co-hostess with the co-mostess.
I don't actually hate that.
You don't hate that?
No, I kind of like it.
It might be a keeper.
Yay.
So, Sarah, you threw this episode together. The theme is holiday.
Yep.
Holiday theme.
Yep, that's it. All of these situations center around the holidays.
Now, I'll ask you a rude question here.
Okay.
It's a little ignorant.
Here we go.
Hanukkah is long. Is it Hanukkah yet? When does Hanukkah get going?
Hanukkah starts next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the Hanukkah story is we have the oil. It's supposed to last for a day.
It was supposed to last one night. It
One
lasted
night.
8 nights.
And that's a great run.
It is a great run. Like, imagine if your phone battery somehow lasted 8 days. That would be like,
Right.
we would celebrate that every year for the next 3,000 years.
Absolutely, I would. And now, is there, you get a gift each day?
No, I mean, that's not part of the holiday. It was never meant to be like a gift-giving holiday. I think American Jews started doing that because we felt left out around Christmas.
Got it.
So it just depends on the family. Like, I might get socks, the equivalent of socks every day. I think now
Okay.
my mom doesn't even do it. She's just like, here you go.
I think the stereotype's true because when you're young, socks suck, but I love a good
It's
sock,
true. I
people.
love socks. Some socks, like maybe a knee-high sock, but one that isn't too tight on my calves.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I'm all about that wool shit.
Really?
Oh,
I
I
don't think
love
have
it.
wool socks.
I like hot and nasty socks. I want to have some hot and nasty socks.
Gross. Danny's getting turned on, and I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, I'm warm. That's all. I hate being cold. That's one thing I've learned about myself. I have a space heater in the bathroom. I brought a space
really?
heater to work. I hate being cold even for a single second. Hate it.
I hate it, but I also really hate being hot. So I don't know which I prefer. I think outside I can stand being hot,
Okay.
but inside for some reason I'm like, please no.
I hate humidity.
I actually like humidity.
What if we just had a weather podcast?
And you're like, I hate the snow, and you're like, I love the snow.
People just I love rain. I like to get rained
Who the
on.
fuck likes to get rained on? Stop.
Or girls who are I want to get kissed in the rain. It's
Okay, no one over the age of 12 ever wants to do that.
I disagree. They're out there, Sarah. These people are out there.
You're right. But they watch too many movies. No.
Sometimes if there's a hot rain, I go, this isn't so bad. But then after 1 minute, I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah, and you're not like, this is romantic.
No.
Ugh.
I do love to be in the car in the rain. I don't know why. I find that very sexy and romantic. It's ooh,
It's kind of cool, I guess.
we're in our little box and we're safe.
Right, and you can see the rain,
Yes.
but it can't get to you.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, this is
can't
Am
believe
I
it.
the Weatherman? A new pod.
The answer is no.
Well, we're just going to kick this shit right off.
Woo! Danny's cursing. It's getting wild.
Yeah, I don't have a personality, so I'm always trying to spice it up. Second story of the day. Would I be the asshole if I told my family that our secret family recipe came from the side of a can? But first, we have an update. Oh, I see. I missed Sarah. I fucked up the episode already. Good Lord.
Danny, that's why you can't curse.
You wrote "but first" here, but first is what I say when I read the first thing.
Look, I don't write your cues
You
for you.
appropriated "but first"
I
from me.
appropriated it.
So we're actually doing an update first to AITA for not telling my dad that he isn't getting the inheritance he's expecting.
Yeah, I remember this. It was the TLDR basically was the dad married this new wife who the grandparents hated, and she sounded like she kind of sucked.
Okay.
And the grandparents wrote the dad out of the will, and they gave all the money to their grandson. Meanwhile, the dad was spending money like he was going to inherit a few $1 million tomorrow, and he was in a ton of debt. Do you remember talking about this? I was concerned.
Oh, yeah, he would spend everything he made. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
he was in debt. It wasn't even he hasn't properly budgeted. It's no. This man is literally in debt. So I was really curious about what happened, and luckily, OP delivered.
He writes, I talked to my parents and shared these concerns. They were understanding and set up a family meeting with them, their lawyer, my dad, his wife, and myself. I was secretly hoping that my grandparents would get over some of their issues with my dad and his wife. But nope. My dad's wife actually started crying and wailing when they revealed that I would be getting most of the inheritance. I could see my grandmother almost exploding. My dad, to his credit, looked disappointed, but said it was their money to do as they wished. The new agreement is that my father will receive 75 grand and each of my younger siblings will receive 50 grand education fund. My dad's wife did call me a few days later and acted really foolishly, and she somehow thought that insulting my mother would help her. I told her that if she ever said something bad about my mother again, I would tell my grandparents about it. That seems to have shut her up. My relationship with my dad was never the greatest, but I haven't really seen any further decline in the relationship.
I think this is kind of a positive update because now the grandson's conscience is pretty clear.
Yeah, and the dad knows. And honestly, the dad had a mature reaction. He's just like,
he needs to get rid of that woman. She's a gold digger.
She sounds terrible.
Wailing? Imagine, first of all, I can't. What was the last thing I wailed over? I can't imagine. And then to have that be about money that was never even mine.
Right.
Wow.
Sarah, this is a little mean to say. You might be upset here, but sometimes you go so far. I think you're a little bit of a radical feminist. So I was a little bit surprised to hear you just drop gold digger there.
Why?
Well, it
can be gender
I just
neutral.
kind of feel like you would be like, Danny, gold diggers aren't real. That's a myth perpetuated by the male patriarchy to make us think that. But have you ever known a gold digger or anything like that? I think it's really interesting.
I mean, I don't make enough money to know any gold diggers. No, but I mean, in this case, I think it can be gender
but
neutral.
do you have any friends that are like sugar babies, or that's sort of the kind of an equivalent?
I guess I'm also not broke enough. Ooh,
yeah, you're just too
not
middle
bad.
class.
I know. Ugh, so.
I wonder,
bourgeoisie.
I mean, if I don't really know how that would pan. I mean, would I sleep with an older woman if she had a ton of money or something like that? I try to run these scenarios in my head, but I don't really think I.
In theory, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, sweet deal. But then, like, actually older men, I'm just, like, not into it. If you're into them, like, honestly, do it. But I'm just not.
I guess I would have trouble respecting them, really, because I'd be like, I would have to really feel like they just thought I was hot. Otherwise, I'd be like, why are you such a fucking loser that you're hanging out with me? You know what I mean? Like, you're an old woman, but don't you have, like, cool friends and shit? You want me to be your boy? That's going to be my vibe.
Yeah, same thing. It's like, why are you hanging out? Why are you dating people like way younger than you? And then when you add the financial imbalance, it's just like, well, it's not real. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No further comments.
Anyway,
I also don't think I'm that radical, but all right.
No, you're not. You're not. Sometimes you just say things and I can't sleep for night.
Oh my God, really?
Well, anyway, we got a great app for you guys. Our second story of the day, AITA for wrapping a fake present for my kids. But first, this is the real but first. Would I be the asshole if I told my family that our secret family recipe came from the side of a can by you? Absolute irony. No E in the absolute if you want to look up the user, which no one ever has, but I read them anyway because I think it's important.
Yeah, I like it.
Growing up every year around the holidays, my mom would make fudge. The story was this amazing fudge recipe came from her grandma, who snagged it from a famous candy maker. Okay, I'm already a little bit
Eye
pissed.
rolling.
My mom didn't get the recipe until she was an adult, and we were always told that we couldn't have it until we were 30. In my late teens, my mom asked me to help make the fudge with her a few times. The recipe is very simple, and this was all the exposure I needed to memorize it. I've never once needed to write the recipe down.
Weird flex, but okay.
It came out that, right? It's like, how simple is it then? It came out that I had the recipe early, and my mom and her mom were both outraged. Do these people, find something, people, in your life.
Save it for the end.
Sorry, I'm just getting angry.
I know. It's
I was
ridiculous.
given many, I turned into the Hulk. I was given many warnings against sharing family secrets and told they were disappointed at my sneaking around them. I've never shared the recipe with anyone besides my brother and my sister. I don't have the same feelings about recipe hoarding, but I follow tradition. However, even now, 15-ish years later, I'll get comments about how they don't entirely trust me since I came by the recipe dishonestly. Tonight, I was reading an article about a chef doing research on secret family recipes for pickled herring. He managed to get copies of hundreds of recipes. 200 of them were identical. He traced them back to a cookbook from the 60s. This got me thinking about our family recipe. After not much Googling at all, I found our exact recipe on the website for an evaporated milk company. They apparently have also printed the recipe on cans over the years. This led me to believe that either my grandma or her mother actually got the recipe from a can and lied about its origin. I think this is hilarious and want to share the information. We've been so secret about a recipe that it's in the public domain. There's really no reason to hoard it anymore. Would I be the asshole if I shared this knowledge with my mom?
Okay, so my main question is, does the family completely lack any sense of humor, or is OP like overly sensitive and viewing all their comments as serious? Like, I feel like I'm imagining this in a TV episode, and where it could go one of two ways. Like, either the family really thinks this is like a sacred tradition,
Yeah.
and they're really slamming OP, or they're really like, oh, we can't trust you. You stole the recipe, like as a total joke, but OP is like internalizing it for real.
Yeah, I think, okay, I actually think there's a really deep concept you're talking about here.
Okay.
Like, I just roasted you a little bit, and I said, Sarah, you go too far with some shit. and you knew I was teasing. I did have an example in my head.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Obviously, I did, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing about teasing. You know, so if you're getting teased about like, oh, we can't trust you, that's actually a pretty heavy thing, right? Like, I was calling you a radical, but I wasn't saying I can't trust you. So, like, there's always a little bit of truth in
There's
the
always
tease.
I mean, not in this situation. If you're like, oh, we can't trust you, you came about the recipe. Like, if they're saying it jokingly, that's like, no, come on. The whole thing is like, someone needs to like take everything less seriously, but I'm not sure who it is.
Yeah, I guess, see, I don't know if we're seeing eye to eye on what the problem is here. I mean, I need to unpack it myself. My first sort of thing is like, I guess I see what you're saying. It's like, it's a recipe. Calm down, Barbara. Is that sort of where you're at? Yeah, because it's like, why is this such a big deal? But then I start to think, okay, but, you know, if we just think about, you know, like, look, recipes, family traditions, you know.
But then someone clearly made up this elaborate backstory that is already like ridiculous.
Okay,
and
yeah,
you would think you'd side eye it. So that person obviously made it up in jest. And then like somewhere along the line, it's like a bad game of telephone. Somebody took it seriously, and now it's this hallowed family tale.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun. And like, look, let's be honest.
It's fun,
all right, I was
but
trying
it's
not
not
to say
that
this.
deep.
I know I could get arrested for this by the feminists.
Oh,
but let's be honest. Some women do like to cook and identify with like the homemaker aspect. Is that legal to say?
It's just you like gender things that don't need to be gendered. Like
some
people like to cook.
like cooking.
Exactly.
Well, I'm talking about something a little bit more historical, is like the notion of the female homemaker. And look, if these are older women, they might identify with that role, and there's nothing wrong with them identifying with that role.
Okay, so what is your point?
So in that context, the secret family recipe is a hallowed part of the role that is bestowed upon the homemaker lineage.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, these people are just taking it very seriously.
Well, you don't, because you're like, you live in New York and you don't have, like, you're not into kitchens because you live in New York. Like, I mean,
sometimes I wish this was videotaped so you guys could like just see the expressions that I make to like the imaginary camera that doesn't exist. Like I'm in the office.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't cook. Also because my grandma never taught my mom how to cook, and I resent her from beyond the grave for it. Come on, Grandma Camille.
Yeah, see, you resent her because you wish that your family had the homemaker lineage.
Look, I just wish I didn't have to grow up eating the same chicken cutlets every night for dinner. But
okay, so
right.
Look, I agree with you that there is like a level of like ridiculousness here. It's hard to know who's serious and who's not.
Okay, because the thing is like I just have a different family dynamic, and this comes up in actually multiple episodes. That's like the secondary theme is like just like different family dynamics. Like mine is pretty lighthearted and like jokey, and I just feel like my dad was a total bullshit artist. Like all the time he would make up these ridiculous stories. Like he used to tell us that he was so poor growing up that one year for Thanksgiving our grandma like constructed a turkey out of cream cheese and they ate it, and we believed it because we were gullible kids. And so I'm imagining like but now I know that my dad was like pulling my leg about everything, and if he tried to come at me with this story about how my grandma like in this massive chase snagged this fudge recipe from Willy Wonka himself, I'd be like, Dad, you're bullshitting me. Like this is not real. So,
but I feel like you're conflating these things. I feel like your dad's a jokester and he likes to joke.
That's why great. I just don't. I don't get why this is like so deep.
Well, because sometimes a trivial secret, and I'm going back to this, a little tiny jokey secret. It can be a good little trust.
That's why I'm like somewhere along the line was joking.
Maybe, but it can be fun to have secrets between people, right? Even if the secrets are trivial. Like if I tell you, like, hey, you know, I'm really embarrassed, or I can't even tell my girlfriend this, but I actually shit myself at work today, right? God. I tell you that. Now, it's not important. It doesn't matter.
Well, I hope you showered,
you know.
Danny.
No, I haven't. I'm sitting in my own poop. But I tell you that, right? Now, it's not really important. I'm just embarrassed. I'm going to get over it, you know? But then right away, if my girlfriend walks in while we're recording, and you're like, Danny shit himself. I'd be like, what the fuck, Sarah?
Yeah.
That was our thing.
Okay, yes. However, that's a lighthearted secret, or maybe this was. But now it's not anymore.
But it's still a secret. And this is like going back to like the old fucking, what's that phrase? It's like, you know, it's the impact. What's the phrase I want? The intention doesn't erase the impact, right? Like,
okay.
It still would bother me that you violated my secret, even if it was a stupid secret, because I didn't want you to tell it. It was our secret.
Okay, I wasn't even necessarily saying that OP should spill the secret. I was just saying that I think this whole thing is ridiculous.
I see what you're saying. So, but you're not saying that the secret deserves no respect. You do respect the secret.
Sure.
Technically,
the mom didn't respect the secret
because
she taught him how to make fudge before he was 30.
Well, yeah, so that was slightly... but is that because he pressured her? Or
No.
What was that part about?
In my late teens, my mom asked me to help her make the fudge a few times. And OP is like so advanced, has a photographic memory. Just kidding. The recipe is so simple
that he
remembered it.
All right. Well...
And now OP... Also, I love these people. Fucking 15 years later... They're still giving him shit about this when really they should be giving the mom shit, if anyone.
Well, let's read it.
It's a tangled web of this dumbass recipe.
I know. I can't believe how worked up I've gotten.
I know, me either.
FB comment. Kevin M says, this is a Friends episode.
Interesting.
I don't know if is that literal or is it a joke?
No, I think it was, but they commented that it was like it was like maybe cookies or something instead.
Okay. Top serious comment, Sue B writes, don't be the asshole. Keep the secret. Our family secret, coleslaw, comes from a barbecue joint down the road, so it doesn't matter where it came from. It's their tradition and something they share and want to share with their children. Don't ruin it. See, I think that's very on point. Like, it's kind of like Santa Claus, right? Like,
yes.
Santa Claus is fake. Oh, my God, I can't believe I just said that on air.
Danny!
I'm so... Listeners,
think of the children!
Please. Santa Claus is real. But if he were fake, it would be rude to tell people that he was fake.
So here's the thing.
Kids,
he's not saying...
Believers.
Yes, it would be rude. Here's the thing. He's not saying he's not trying to like share this with the whole family. He's like, would I be the asshole if I shared this with my mom? I don't think he would. And I think that's totally fine. Because the mom already like kind of broke this tradition anyway. She doesn't seemingly take it as seriously. So I think that would be like a fun little inside joke they could share.
Well, I actually think that unless they're stupid, they won't care. I don't think it matters that the recipe is on the side of a can.
What do you mean?
Well, it doesn't matter because it's like, all right, well, it's like... You know, hey...
I think they clearly would care. This is like this super secret recipe that they think is unique to them. This would like totally disillusion them. They would get upset.
You think your fudge is unique? Let me guess. Is it chocolate and sugar and milk?
These people are so mad that they're holding a grudge 15 years after the fact for something that a teenager was a participant of. Yes, they would be upset.
I guess, but I would just be like...
they would.
Well, but a part of like there's literally thousands of recipes online. Like I would say like so... I'm trying to
like you're trying to apply your own logic, which is sound to this family that takes this very seriously.
Okay. Well, because here's what it's like. It's like saying I found your password online. Like your password is written out online, and you're like, okay, like that's not a security threat because how the fuck are they going to tie it to you? You know what I mean?
I feel like you're kind of even going back on the own argument that you just presented because like you acknowledge that this is very like sacred and important to this family, so of course they would be upset if they found out that their grandma just found this off a can and then like lied.
I guess maybe I'm just stupid. I guess I'm just sort of like, how original is this recipe? What is there?
They apparently think it's very original.
Is there blood in it of a specific person?
And sweat and tears.
What could be in the fudge that's so cooked out?
They really just, maybe they've also never had like other people's fudge and they just think like they're proprietary.
They made up fudge.
Literally.
I'm starting to hate this whole family. I'm going to be honest.
Foolish.
Tied for top comment, Christopher T says, it sounds like you want to share the recipe out of spite.
I don't get that. Really? I didn't get that at
he's
all.
pissed because they keep roasting him about the trust thing.
Yeah, but he's not like, I'm going to turn around and like say this news to my aunts. He's like, I'm just going to tell my mom this.
Yeah.
Like, it would be one thing if he was like, yeah, well, joke's on you because it comes back from the can of condensed milk. But he's like, can I just tell my mom? Just want to tell his mom.
Christopher T goes on, all recipes come from somewhere. There's also the possibility that your grandma still got the recipe from a candy maker.
Yeah, and there's a possibility that I'm going to find a golden ticket in my next chocolate bar and go to the Willy Wonka factory. Like, come on.
There you go. Oh, hey, this is you at the Willy Wonka factory. Hey, Willy, I just noticed there doesn't seem to be a lot of females in your employ. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I've noticed no height diversity, actually.
Because all the Oompa Loompas are men, right?
I mean, I think it was one guy that they, like, kind of cloned, right? Or did I just totally make that up? Not cloned, but, like...
I remember that part of the movie.
No, but, like, in reality, when they filmed it, I think it was, like, one guy.
Well, yeah, but I was talking about you're critiquing the narrative world, not the filmmaking process.
Yeah, there were no female Oompa Loompas. Because, again, it was the same guy.
Why do you keep... Are you talking about in Willy Wonka's world?
I'm talking about both.
He cloned a guy over
I'm talking
and over.
about
I'm pretty sure the Oompa Loompas are a discrete, like, race of different guys. They're not just
yeah, but in the movie, they're just portrayed as one dude.
No, they're a bunch of different little dudes. You don't think they had multiple... what do you call them? Little people?
I think I read that it was just one guy, but I could have also made that up totally. Who the fuck knows?
Miss O'Ginny with the top Reddit comment. I say NTA, do it because this... They quote OP. It came out that I had the recipe early, and my mom and her mom were both outraged. I was given many warnings against sharing family secrets and told they were disappointed at my sneaking around them. What is even the point of having a cherished family tradition if it ceases to be something fun and just becomes a vehicle for bullying and emotional abuse? Fuck them, out their BS secret recipe, tell them exactly why, because they're being assholes about it.
Can we? No. Reddit? No. The internet? Just... I'm stammering. I'm just like, everyone goes too far. Like, this is not emotional abuse. Like, can we just chill?
That seems mislabeled. Yeah, that seems ridiculous.
Okay, also now I'm like wondering if I need to walk my initial comments back because apparently when the mom, the same person who taught him this fudge recipe was mad that he knew the recipe. Apparently, according to the text. So I'm like, I don't even know what to think now. I'm like, maybe don't tell your mom. Here's what this person should do. I know this is not an advice podcast, but like, I would just roll up with this can of condensed milk and be like, hey, isn't this weird? Like, isn't this the same recipe?
Why not just leave it out?
Or leave,
that's a pretty funny prank. And film it and get to the top of Reddit with that shit. That's viral.
I like it. Which subreddit would it go on?
Videos.
Okay.
A little clip.
I like it. Okay. Yeah, that's what they should do.
All right. So would I be the asshole if I told my family that our secret family recipe came from the side of a can? I'm still going to say you would be. Because
yeah, because apparently the mom would be upset even though she did this.
I think you got me. Like, I think you're right that technically it makes no sense, but they would freak out.
Yeah, no, they clearly, at first I was like, oh, the mom taught him, and then I was like, yes, but the mom was upset. So no one here is rational, so fine. You got to play by their.
It's their
You
little
can't apply
thing.
your rationality to them. Their feelings, so fine. He would get in trouble.
Yes.
This is so dumb.
So we agree, YTA.
So should we make this fudge recipe?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's find this condensed milk can. All right, we're going to play a little game here called Era of Assholes. We're going to do 0 BC. This is the assholes at Jesus' birth.
I know 3 things about the nativity.
Okay, well, I'll say,
Here we go.
I got nothing. Go ahead. Myrrh, the guy who brought the myrrh.
I was going to say that.
What kind of shitty gift is myrrh?
I was going to say the guy who bought the frankincense because you know he was just trying to sell Mary into like his essential oils multi-level marketing scheme.
There you go. What about the guy who says, hey, can my llama be in the stable? They're like, nah, it doesn't really kind of fit the picture we're trying to have here. The llama's weird.
I mean, what
camel?
about
Maybe it was a camel.
The camel. I feel like there was probably a camel. I mean, what about baby Jesus for crying? He probably woke some people up.
Crying.
I'm sorry, but I'm like I'm irrational about babies crying. Like, I hate it so much, and I'm like, I know I'm the asshole in my head, so I can't say anything. But it's like,
I got one. God. I say God. All right, he's God, and you know God, he's got a pretty big penis. Why didn't he fuck Mary? That could have been the best sex she ever had. Nope, no sex for her, just right to baby. Skip the pleasure part. You don't get none of that.
That's true. Yeah, just the worst parts.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
No orgasm. And you know God. Woo, when you come from God, that shit is real.
I don't know anything else about Christmas.
What about the innkeeper guy? Remember, don't they go to the inn? They go to the hotel and he's like,
The hotel.
Yeah, they go to the inn over there. We got no rooms. What a douchebag. You should have had a bigger hotel.
Oh, yeah.
They got no reason to come for him. Yeah.
I guess I'm the asshole because I know nothing.
Well, you don't
about
know
this.
anything about the Bible, Sarah. This was
No.
a crazy choice.
I know, but I was trying to stick with my theme.
Sarah also wrote, we could also do assholes at Christmas.
Yeah, just at general
What
holidays.
about the boyfriend who doesn't wrap any of the gifts and just hands them to his girlfriend in an Amazon box, also known as me?
I was gonna say, did you do that?
That was kind of my plan, and I was like, I guess I gotta go get some fucking shit.
Wait, I know the dad. Okay, my dad, everyone's dad, who has no idea what the kids are getting for Christmas because the mom just bought everything.
Right, that's a lot of households.
All of them.
What about the kid who cries because his mom got him a boombox for Christmas and he didn't want a boombox? That was me as well. Oh, they're all me. No.
Oh my God, a self roast.
Yeah.
What about the grandma / the racist relative who just gets too drunk?
Yep.
Starts the political conversation that everyone else was trying to avoid. Uncle Jerry.
Right.
I don't have an Uncle Jerry.
What about the people who are like, let's eat mashed potatoes. Let's eat ham. I don't know. I'm out. I lost.
Ham?
I don't know.
I thought you guys eat ham on
Well,
Christmas.
I was going to come for the people who go to a restaurant on Christmas, but then I was like, those are Jews. Now I'm being
Yeah.
anti-Semitic.
There we go.
I didn't want to go that route.
I appreciate that.
I don't find Christmas is very prone to assholes. I don't find these are very asshole-driven events, besides the racist relatives that
I
you
would
talked
just
about.
say any holiday event is like prone to as many assholes as you have in your family. What about
Yeah.
like the one cousin who's always bringing their random significant other and there's like a new one every year?
Yeah, I hate that.
Also, my Passovers at least would always have like some random guest. Literally, one year we had an
So
Indian
funny.
Catholic priest. I think he
What?
came twice. It was apparently a nice guy, but I was in Atlanta. I was sad. I missed it.
Oh God, I just had this flashback to this priest. I was at this wedding and I got sat next to the priest.
No.
And
Wait. At the wedding?
yeah,
Oh, the reception?
Or no, it was like one of the dinners before, and he just
no.
kept talking, and no one really wanted to talk to him, and
But you can't be
he
mean
just
to
had
a
nothing.
priest.
You can't be mean to him, but it just wasn't interesting.
He's like, so about Leviticus.
Yeah, it's like, what do you got for me, man? Also, you bombed. Your sermon bombed. You bombed at the wedding, bro.
You bombed.
All right, we're going to keep this show rolling. AITA for wrapping a fake present for my kids by you/Stark 2. I have 2 sons from a previous marriage, ages 8 and 9. I've had full custody for the last 3 years, and it's just the stepmom and me now. Their mother is no longer in the picture. They were so excited about Christmas last year. There were many presents for them under the tree from the grandparents and us. And they were constantly checking them out, trying to guess what was in them. They could hardly wait for Christmas Day and begged us to let them open some presents early. So we allowed them to open one present that was gifted to both of them. It was the heaviest package under the tree, and you could feel their excitement when I told them they could open it on Christmas Eve. As the final paper was ripped off the present, the oldest was going like, it's a, and the final paper came off, brick. I thought it was hilarious.
You got to say with more disappointment. It's a brick.
Brick?
There we go.
The looks on their faces were priceless. Make up your mind, Sarah. Do I overact in the fucking things or do I underact? Don't you direct me.
You got to overact.
The looks on their faces was priceless. Unfortunately, they were somewhat upset. Tears were shed, etc. So we let them open one more present to calm them down. Am I the asshole for wrapping a brick as a present?
I love that this guy says, unfortunately, they were upset as if he did not conceive of that outcome.
Yeah, I mean...
You thought that they would be happy?
I think letting them open... I feel like this is a time served because it's like you let them open another present. Come on.
Yeah, I just think it would be... I wouldn't have really any qualms about this if the plan was always to have them open another, a real present. But apparently he, did not prepare for the fact that they wouldn't have a good reaction to opening a brick. And is like, what should I do now? Okay, open a present. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, pranking kids, it's hilarious. Of course it is.
What's the point of having kids if you can't prank them and also make them do your housework?
Right. I mean, they're stupid and inexperienced, so you can just own their ass at everything. But the thing is, if they are crying, it's mean. Like, you are being mean. Like,
yeah.
So,
especially if you like let them cry for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah, and like I'm thinking like of the YouTube of this, which I think is a good kind of way of thinking about like what are the optics of this? Like if you were to film that and put it on YouTube, like I think people would come for you.
Well, that's like Jimmy Kimmel every year is like, hey, parents, tell your kids that like all the presents burned up in a fire or something ridiculous. He has some challenge like that.
Right,
They all do it. They all like film themselves telling their kids that they're not getting presents.
Yeah, but I feel like it's just telling. It's not quite like they just kind of go like, really? Oh,
and then they cry, and then they're like, just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's not quite the same, but similar.
I guess you're right. I guess it kind of does play. Maybe I'm wrong. I know there was like a YouTuber who would who would go too far in pranking his kids.
There's always that one couple that would go too far in pranking their kids.
I think once a year is a good rate of making your kids cry from a prank. I don't know that like once you start to hit like once a month, it's like, Jesus, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, once you start also monetizing that, it's like, well, I guess you have the money to pay for their therapy, so that's good.
Yeah, it's mean, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a time my parents... Actually, you know what? I remember one time a teacher did this to me, and I was in 6th grade. She came up to me, and she just goes, hey, just so you know, the semester's wrapping up, and I've been reviewing everything, and, you know, your handwriting is really difficult to read, so I've decided I'm going to let you keep your A, but you're going to have to rewrite every assignment.
Ugh.
And I just started crying.
Oh.
She got me, and it was super embarrassing, and she was super apologetic about it.
That seems like super inappropriate. It's your teacher. It's not the same as your parent. But I'm glad you didn't have to rewrite all your assignments.
I didn't, but I mean, it was kind of worse. I cried in front of my class.
Yeah, that's why I think what she did was super inappropriate.
Yeah. I guess the stakes are a lot higher. Yeah, I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, you can joke with like high schoolers, but like middle schoolers are too sensitive and mean.
Yeah.
She probably set you up for a lifetime of bullying, and she didn't even know.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't stop crying until 8th grade. So 7th grade was the crying
now
year.
Danny's known as the crying kid.
Bridget D writes, YTA, isn't the world going to beat enough joy out of your kids without you doing it at home too?
Yeah, this is why the implicit theme of the episode is like, all right, can we all just like take things with a little more levity?
Yeah, I don't think we need to go so far.
Yeah.
But yeah. Top dissenting comment on FB. Andrea P writes, well, now you have to wrap a brick for them to open every year. Maybe mix it up, a bag of broken bricks, a cinder block, half a brick for each. They'll get older and come to expect your shitbaggery NTA.
I love the Facebook group because, like, okay, this time around I decided to just go choose my comments based on reactions instead of, like, what I thought was this kind of just, like, confirmation bias thing where I would just choose the comments I liked.
Right.
So it's funny because you just, like, people, I don't know, you just got an idea of, like, what everyone is like. And it's like, okay, Andrea P is clearly giving her kids bags of coal for Christmas.
I mean, I think the sanity comment here you put is pretty spot on. Tracy R writes, hey, parents make mistakes. Emoji of a man throwing his arms up, sort of like, it is what it is. Or a shrug is definitely a better way to describe what I just did. You make up for it. You do things differently. If this is the worst you're doing, then I'd say you're okay. And I agree with that because they came back from it. They turned around. Top Reddit comment by Abstract Nerd Dreams. YTA. Why in your mind would you think it is amusing to torment a 7 and 8-year-old with a fake present? That's just shitty. Well, yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I sound like a baby boomer because I'm like, is this really what we consider tormenting nowadays? Like,
oh, of course.
Come on. It was like, I don't know, a few minutes of mild emotional distress that they probably won't remember.
No,
whatever.
I mean that's, and I hate to quote him, but it's an old Louis C.K. joke about how we go to the highest possible word. Like awesome used to be that, like awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like God used to be awesome, but like
now he's just okay.
Now we do it with every. Oh, you're saying God himself has declined? Yeah.
Yeah.
God's like, well, you know, I'm retired. What?
Yeah.
No, like I like the subway. Like one train is packed, and I'm like, this is a nightmare. It's like, no, it's not.
Literally me every day on the subway.
Yeah, like what kind of nightmare
this
would
is
that
unbelievable. And it's like, is it unbelievable? It happens every single day.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, AITA for wrapping a fake present for my kids. I think the OP made up for it right away with the second present.
Yeah.
And I do think it is amusing. It's just, it would be wrong. And the trick is only going to work once. So this person is kind of wrong as well. Andrew
Right.
P. It's like, you can't, it's not going to make them cry every year. It's stupid. They're not. They remember. They're not.
But that's why it would be okay if you do it every year.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
funny.
"Ha-ha."
It's funny at that point. Yeah.
But then I think you should just like not remind your kids every year of the time you played a mean prank on them that made them cry. Like,
hey, remember when I fucked up? Yeah, that was funny, right?
yeah.
For
I
me.
would say like Opie was like the asshole in thought because like the intent really was to just play a prank and not like, I don't know, that he was going to break the kids down and not build them back up initially. And then so that I would say YTA, but then I guess he did kind of realize that he had to give them something. So, all right.
NTA?
No, because the kids aren't the
Or
assholes.
no assholes here.
Yeah, no assholes here.
All right, it's everybody's favorite part of the show, listener submissions. AITA for wanting to spend more time with my family this holiday, continuing our holiday
It
theme.
came in clutch. It came in at like 2 in the afternoon. And I was like, oh, wow, thank God. And it was holiday themed. It was amazing.
Wow. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. Each Thanksgiving, we have lunch with my sisters and their families at my dad's house. And we do a formal Thanksgiving dinner at my boyfriend's house. For Christmas, it's usually a bit more difficult as we have to split the entire day with multiple people. I have 3 sisters, 2 with kids. My oldest sister moved across the country last year and is finally flying back to spend Christmas with us. She also has had another daughter, so I have a niece I haven't met. I want to spend as much time with my family because we're rarely all together. Okay. I went to my boyfriend's house to tell his family about my Christmas plan. His aunt flies in Christmas Day, so I wanted to see if we could meet with my family before she gets in. The plan was to spend Christmas Eve at my dad's, as all of my sisters and their families were going to spend the night there. Then we would be at my dad's house for Christmas morning. We would leave for my mom's house, which is an hour away, around 11 a.m., and then my boyfriend's aunt gets in around 12:15 p.m.-ish, and the airport is still an hour or so away from their home. The plan would then be to leave my mom's house around 3 or 4, so we would get back to my boyfriend's family in time for Christmas dinner around 7. Good God, Sarah.
I know, I'm fucking tired.
I am so tired. Overall, I felt like we had created a good plan that gave each parent and family ample time to celebrate the holiday, as my parents are divorced and his are not. When we told my boyfriend's mom, she got upset. She said she wanted all of us to be together during Christmas at their house, and that it would be unfair to spend the morning/afternoon with my parents. She also is upset because this is the first Christmas without her sister and her mom, so all of her family on her side has passed away. I told her I could change the timing of the schedule, but I would need to talk to my 3 sisters. My boyfriend defended me, saying that it's very hard for all of my family to find time in their schedule that work for them, but she kept reiterating that she wanted the family she had left together. The family she had left, right? Because her sister and mom passed away.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just trying to keep all this in my head. She ultimately called us assholes about the situation and stormed off into the garage. I don't know why it's relevant that it was a garage, but she was pissed. Every holiday, and it was echoey, every holiday I compromise and make sure that we spend a majority of the time on the day of the holiday with my boyfriend's family. Last year, we did Christmas at my dad's house in the morning for an hour and spent the rest of the entire day at his house for his family, so I felt that she would be a little more understanding with my family and how big we are. I feel bad that I have a large family compared to her, where she literally lost the only family she had. However, I do not know how I'm able to fix the situation without cutting time from either side for the holiday. AITA for ultimately wanting to spend more time with my family, even though it means taking my boyfriend away from his family for a portion of the day.
I feel ready to come for OP, and not just because I'm annoyed at like how intricate this was.
Good God.
But also, like, I have friends like this who are extremely unrealistic about the way time works. And it's like, if you're at an event with people that you like your family, it's kind of rude to be there for like an hour. And like, also, you're not going to want to leave, and it's not going to be fun, and you're not going to be able to enjoy it because you're just thinking about like, oh, I got to leave in like an hour. I got to leave in 45 minutes. Like, OP is doing way too much.
Yeah, and likewise, I think that's a really good observation about time. I think
Thank you.
the
Wow, so deep.
reverse is also true, right? Like if you and I spend 5 hours together,
Recording this podcast.
it
like
won't
today.
be a massive difference in like whatever we're gaining from that hang than 9 hours. I think it works on both sides, right?
Oh, okay.
Like if you, like I've spent,
It's like a bell curve.
yeah, it's kind of like there's a sweet spot. Like, and I feel like usually I hit the sweet spot with friends. Like, it's like if you go out for dinner, that's 2 hours, and then you take a good long walk after you're at 3 hours. I kind of feel like 3 hour hang is great.
Yeah, but I do feel like when you make a lot of plans back to back, and even if you are only allotting 3 hours, let's say, but I think you spend the whole time focused on where you have to be next, you're not going to like enjoy the time with your family.
No, 1 hour is a fuck you. If I went through the trouble of meeting with someone and we meet for an hour, I'm like, why? Like, why do we invite? I better be in a convenient place then.
I know. I only do that if I like have to like get lunch with someone or something. Yeah. Like I have an hour, like during the workday. I mean.
Right. Or someone I kind of hate, and I'm just like,
yeah, and you're like, oh, please, like from your high school or something.
But then always you start to have fun in the last 10 minutes, and you're like, I really actually have to
and
go.
And then you're like, we should do this again, and then they hit you up on it, and you're like, no.
Yeah, or like you're like, well, I have to go. I have a podcast, and then they're like, well, do you want to? And then you're like, fuck my podcast, fuck Danny. And then they're like, you want to violently make out? And you're like, that's such a turn off. And then you're late.
And I never heard from him again.
Top FB comment by Myrna F is literally everyone skipping over the part where they write, quote, every holiday I compromise and make sure we spend a majority of the time on the day of the holiday with my boyfriend's family. This is a running theme with his mother. This isn't about being near her family. This is about controlling her adult son and his partner. And if her BF didn't want to hang out with the partner's family too, he wouldn't be so persistently defending them. He clearly wants to be with their family as well. Otherwise, OP would have said, my boyfriend wants to know if he can skip mine to hang out with his mom. He clearly doesn't want to.
Okay,
I feel like that's kind of on point.
That's interesting. I don't know like how clear it is, but I agree because like the obvious solution is for them to just spend the holidays apart. Like
that was
like,
my first thought.
She's like crisscrossing state lines, like on this intense schedule. I don't know. I'm just making that up. But like she's on this intense schedule where everyone gets like 3 hours and 37 minutes, and then we gotta drive, and then we gotta do this, and it's like that is so much effort. Like just split up. You're not married. It's okay.
Right. But I think Myrna's onto something. I think he wants to be with her and her shit.
Yeah. I mean, the mom is sounding a little overbearing right now.
Yeah, well, and I feel like we've dealt with this before, but I do feel like, look, she needs to bend, right? She needs to give some kind of bend. Mom is hurting, and look, she may be controlling, she may be a piece of shit, but obviously they're still on speaking terms. And look, this is brutal. It's her first, it's her first big day without who'd she lose in her life?
Mom and her sister. And her mom. Here's my thing: she has no other family, so she's like not. Like, she has no accompanying people. So why can't they just, like, invite the mom to whatever the girlfriend's doing, and then they're not going to have to, like, shuttle all around town?
Yeah, I feel like mom is going to be like, well, I'm making turkey or something.
I know, but at some point, especially they've been dating for 4 years, like, why don't all your parents hang out? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I were OP, I would just give mom a serious bend of some kind, like, whatever, reach in her direction a little bit more.
She's already doing it.
I feel like it's pretty reasonable. I actually feel like the day she set up was pretty dang reasonable.
It was. Wait, you think she should be more reasonable?
I don't know. I'm saying give
backwards?
mom something. Well, I'm saying that mom is like a special person in this situation. I don't know.
The boyfriend's mom? She's already bending over backwards. I don't know what more she could do.
It kind of feels like she is, because isn't she going to one of her parents' house for only an hour?
She did that on Thanksgiving, which ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Basically, she's going to her dad's.
We can't dive into the logistics.
It's just I can't do it anymore. But like she's spending half of Christmas with her dad, like a third of Christmas with her mom, and then 2/3 or whatever with the boyfriend's mom.
Yeah.
And I don't think she can really give any more than that.
I'm just saying, look, if mom is getting mad and mom has lost her sister, maybe get her an extra gift. Like do something. I don't know. That's my best advice for her, because it sounds like timing wise, I have never had a plan this complicated in my entire life.
That's what I'm saying. This is a nightmare. I also think you're just setting yourself up to fail, because I'm just like imagining Monica planning I think it was Phoebe's wedding where like everything
Sure.
was timed to the minute. And she's like, Phoebe, you spent 30 seconds too long in the bathroom. This throws off my entire timeline. I'm imagining,
hilarious.
thank you. I'm imagining like this happening where like, I don't know, what if the car breaks down? What if there's traffic? Like now your entire intricate Christmas is
Right.
thrown into disarray.
Amy C writes, "You're not the asshole for wanting to spend time with your family. Why MBTA?
You might be the
You
asshole?
might be the asshole if you insist your boyfriend join you. I assume you see him every day. You can miss half a day to let his mom not feel sad during a sensitive time."
Yes, but I don't think that this is what's happening here. But if it was, then she'd be the asshole. But
Yeah, I mean, I would. That's another way she can be like, "Look, why don't you just go with your mom?"
that's what I would
But
say.
he probably doesn't want to. Tracy R says, "You can't please everyone, especially when a certain someone is being unreasonable, but you're going to break your back if you keep trying to bend over backwards for everyone else."
See?
And then the title here is a little weird. AITA for wanting to spend more time with my family this holiday. Well, of course
like,
you're not an
no.
asshole for wanting to do that.
Right.
I mean, I don't have any, I feel like OP is trying their best. Good Lord. I
don't
can't
think OP
comfort
could
them.
try any. In fact, OP is doing too much. Like, I think just do less. There's a simpler solution.
I think mom is hurt. I think she's in a hurt place. I mean, I can't imagine anything worse. I've never,
Yeah.
she's lost two people that are extremely close to her. So, like, she doesn't want to be alone for a single second. Of course she doesn't. Honestly, I'm ready to comfort the boyfriend. Unless the boyfriend has some serious qualms with mommy, then he should spend the day with her because...
Yeah, it's kind of like, why has this... On the one hand, it's kind of nice that the boyfriend's mom considered as the girlfriend, like, a family.
Yeah.
So that is kind of sweet, but also, like, yes. What?
I think
I'm tired.
I guess I'm going to say NTA. No, I also say no assholes here, but if anything, push that boyfriend into hanging out with mom.
Just split up for the holidays.
Just split
It's not...
up.
You'll survive. It's 2 days.
All right. Well, I just had a little something. I guess I cried the other morning. I told you about this, Sarah. I cried. I was reading a book. I think it's rare for a book to make someone
I was
cry.
going to say, you did not tell me that you cried.
Yeah, it's not really relevant to being... This isn't really an asshole-related story, but I guess maybe the listeners might like to know that I can cry, and I can
Yes,
feel...
Danny
and
has emotions.
I mean, I cry when people hurt my feelings, but that's not very likable. But no, I'm reading this book about it's called Being Mortal, and it's about old people, essentially.
Aw.
And, well, being an old person is pretty shitty. I don't know if you've heard about this.
I never heard of what it's old.
I mean, it's kind of cool in a way because you can just hang out. And old people actually don't worry about their future. They become very focused on the present. And they become very focused on just enjoying themselves because they have no future.
Wow.
Which is a bad way to put it. But like
That
that's
is so
essentially what
bleak.
it is. Yeah, like in your 30s and your 40s and even your 50s, you're kind of building something.
Yeah.
If you're like me, you piddled away your 20s. You wasted the whole damn thing.
Same.
But now you're like, holy shit, I need to save money. Gah!
Yeah, you're like, help.
But yeah, so the part that made me cry is, old folks' homes are like really shitty. Like nursing homes are really
Oh, them,
shitty.
yeah.
They're depressing, and all the people are like lonely. I forget. There's like a plague of emotions. I think it's like like loneliness and boredom and one
Aw.
other one and anxiety or something like that. But this doctor had a radical solution. And it was very funny because he like presented it to the other two doctors there. And there were very strict rules about what you can have in these homes. I think it's actually an assisted living home, not nursing
Okay,
home,
yeah.
which is like a little bit of a step down. And he was like, well, the law says you can only have one dog or one cat. And he's like, what if we have two dogs? And the other doctors are like, oh, okay, that's against... they were applying for a grant, by the way. It's a grant for originality, so you have to have like... or innovation. So
That's it? 2 dogs? That's
Yeah.
the grant?
Well, yeah, so the other doctors are like, two dogs, okay, that's an innovation, we guess. And he's like, okay, cool. And what if we have 2 cats per floor? They're like, 4 cats? And he's like, yeah. 2 dogs and 4 cats. And they're like, that seems like a lot of animals.
In everyone's room, or what's he saying?
2 dogs and 4 cats total. And then he goes, and also 100 parakeets. And they're like, 100 parakeets? What is wrong with you?
No.
But he made them all agree. He got the doctors on board, and basically this doctor who proposed the idea, his background, he was like a homesteader and he had his own farm.
Okay.
And so like he was like really into self-sufficiency, but he believed that farms were filled with life. And so they put all the animals in this assisted living home. And when
100 parakeets.
when they got the birds, they didn't have any cages for them. time they had to build the cages, and so they just put 100 parakeets like in this room in the facility, and then all the nurses had to scramble and build all the cages, and for the whole day.
Why? Okay, whatever.
Because they had to put the birds in cages because they were
why were the nurses building the cages?
Well, who else is going to build them? The nurses and
why couldn't you just order them? If I was a nurse, I'd be like,
you think a parakeet comes in a cage? Like,
you can order bird cages. It's the internet.
They did. They ordered the bird cages, but they weren't built.
Oh, they came in parts. I see what you're saying.
So they had to build all the bird cages, and the whole day, all the old people would just walk by and laugh at the nurses, and they were like
mean.
doubling over laughing. And so then they gave every room had a parakeet in it. And the old people loved the birds, and it made them happy. It gave them something to care about and be invested in. I'm going to start crying. I'm starting to cry as I think about it. So I don't know. It just made me happy. I thought it was a sweet story. That's Being Mortal. Really interesting book. Kind of depressing because you're going to think about dying a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Thanks.
Well, kind of a weird way to end the pod, but have a happy holidays. We're all going to die, baby. We'll see you on the other side.
Oh, my God.
I guess I should announce we're probably going to miss a few episodes here with the holidays, but if you want more AITA, there is more. That's right, on our Patreon. Patreon.com/AITA pod. And we'd really appreciate it. It'd be a nice little Christmas gift if you maybe signed up for the old subscription. And we're having a call-in show on January 6th. Or 7th. I don't know. Whatever. We'll have it on the Patreon. Look on it. All right, guys. Have a good one. Love you. Bye.